Hi everyone, it's Donnell McAdams, and I want to show you today how easy it is to tie off your threads when beginning or ending while template quilting. So we've had many requests for this, so I just thought I'd set up a little sample here and show you. So I am going to be doing a border design. So I'm just going to draw right along here to get that line so that we can keep it straight. And then we are going to begin at the left end. And this is my design here, my template. And so I am going to be lining it up just like this. And we will start at this position. I'm going to go ahead and pull my bobbin thread to the top. Foot down. Everything's lined up. Needle down, needle up. And you need to know that it goes in this order. Don't try to put your foot up with your needle down. Make sure your needle is up and then bring up the foot. Now this next step is what we call flossing. And I'm pulling my thread with just my finger here, and we're going underneath to pull that bobbin thread up. Now some machines leave it long enough to get a hold of, while others it may be too short. And if that's the situation, you're going to need to have tweezers to pull that thread up. So you would then have something like the curved tweezers here or the bent tweezers so you could get under there and pull that up. Now I'm going to get back in the same spot. I'm going to put the foot down first, and now I'm going to put my needle in place. So with everything lined up, I've got a hold of these threads to keep them out of the way so they don't get stitched over. So we're going to stitch around our template. And just so you can see a little bit of this design, I'm just going to move this over, pull this thread out of the way, line everything back up again, and continue. Move it over, line it up. Now, if I was doing like a 3-foot long design here, I would probably stop right now and secure this thread. So that's what I'm going to show you. I will show you this a couple of times so that you can see it. Now, when you pull that thread out, you've got to pull it out at least 5 to 6 inches so you've got enough to work with. So we're going to come over here. And I'm right-handed, so I'm going to use the 2 fingers on my left hand, my first finger and my middle finger, and I'm simply going to turn it back like this and flip it around so that I can take those threads and pull it through that loop. Now, I don't want to pull this loop down tight yet. I'm going to get a needle that is a self-threading needle. Now you can get them so that they self-thread on the top, or it may be that it self-threads on the side. So this one is on the side, and I only need to stick that point through and right back down in the spot where the bobbin came out. And now I'm just going to pull my loop down, and before I pull the needle out, I just want to make sure that my knot is going to be like 1/8 of an inch away. It's right there. I don't want it right on the surface of the fabric. So now that I've got that knot, I'm going to take the side threading of the needle and just pull those threads right into that opening. Now when you do this, it might take a couple of times. I got it there all together at once. I'm going to put this right back in where that thread came out from the bobbin, And I'm taking this through between the layers of the top and the batting, so it's not coming out on the back side. And so once we've done that, we're going to pull this through, and I'm going to go slowly so you can see that knot pull through there. So I've pulled through the tails, and now there's my little knot, but it's gone. And so because I left it so it's like 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch away from the fabric, I can pull that in. Now I just use my scissors and kind of pull this back so it scrunches, so I don't have to cut right up against my fabric. So when I cut that thread, that tail is hidden inside there. So let's just go again here down to the other end. I'll do a couple of more. And I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to secure this as if it's ended at this spot. Now I can end it anywhere. I could bring this up so that it ends right as it gets ready to cross. So let's just go ahead and do that. And you can take this off if you want to get it out of the way by opening the gate and just pulling that through. And now what I'm going to do, remember the order I told you, and that is to take your needle up first and then the foot up. And I'm simply going to pull this thread back so that I can push this back underneath there, put my foot down, and put that needle right in that same spot. Pull the thread up again, the foot up again, and you'll notice now as I pull on this being my needle thread, I now get that bobbin thread pulling out from the bottom. So what I'm going to do is, you can either cut both of them. I like to just cut one, and the one you're going to cut's the one that still pulls. So I'm coming right down here, making sure I'm just cutting that one, and that way that bobbin thread goes back underneath, and I'm going to cut this thread, and so now I still only have 2 threads. I'm going to show you 4 threads in a minute, but this is the same thing. Take those 2 fingers, wrap them around, put the thread between your fingers and pull it through that loop. And I'm going to get my needle, put it through the loop and right back down where it came out of the fabric, and pull this again so that when I pull it out, my knot is a little ways away. So now I'm just going to take those 2 threads. Before I do that, I'm going to just cut these off a little bit so I don't have as long a tails. And it doesn't really matter whether I go out here, here, inside, whatever is easiest. Just put it right beside where it came out of the fabric. Make sure you're between the layers and pull that. Now you can see that knot. Now it's gone. And that's how easy it is to do those. So I'm pulling up, like I said before, cutting it away from the fabric, and then that end just goes right back in. Now, let's say we're going to do a design that is going to be where it starts and finishes and is in the same spot. So I need to get another template here. And so just for fun, we're going to use our 8-point crosshair. And I'm going to go ahead and mark it. So you're kind of getting a little bonus here of education. So this is our 8 points. We're going to use the edge of it just to line this up and mark it. Now the chalk I'm using in this chalk marker is not what came in it. So this chalk that you're seeing here is an iron-off chalk. So I refilled my clover marker with iron-off chalk, and so when we're finished, this will iron right off. So I'm going to take the Spinifex Feathers 8 and I'm going to line up the lines that need to be lined up there. You can see I've got a little help today. I'm going to take that thread down with the needle, bring my foot up, do that same flossing so that I can pull those out. Make sure you pull them out a good 5 or 6 inches. And then with everything lined up, this particular design, I will be stitching out to the point and back. I'm going to get these threads out of the way and rotate to my next line here. And I'm going to make this one my last one. I could go all the way around, but you'll get the idea with this. So let's say we're finished with that. Now what we're going to be doing is needle up, foot up. I pull away just enough so I can get a hold of that thread like I did before. And put it right back down, foot first, then the needle, bring it up, foot up, and now when I pull on that, that's my bobbin thread. You can see that yellow thread coming out there. Now when I do this, again, like I said, some people just cut both of those. I usually just cut the one that's still moving, and so they're my scissors. I'm going to cut this one and cut the one coming from the needle. And so now I'm just going to reach underneath and make sure I've got that thread out of the way. That's my needle thread pulled over there. I've got 2 here and 2 here. Now this time I take all 4 of them, turn it around, and pull that through. Now I'm going to show you that part one more time. Your fingers are going to go like this so that you can then just twist them around and put the tails between there. And then once you've got that finished, you're going to take that needle and put it right back down where your starting point is. Again, this is going to be a bigger knot because there's 2 threads or 2 threads more. So there's 4 threads, but you don't want it right there. You can see the knot is out to the side here. And I'm just going to pull that underneath. The needle that I'm using is called cinch side threading needles. And they come in multiple sizes. And so what I'm going to be doing here is, again, burying that, pulling this through. And again, I'm going to cut off all of these tails. And when I pull those last 4 threads through, you can see there's still a knot, but it just popped right down in there, so it's gone. And so not only is it nice to not see that, but it's also nice to not feel it. And that's the reason we want that knot to tie about 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch away from where the threads came out. So that's how you tie a knot when you're doing your template quilting or even free motion quilting. I have a lot of people that ask me, why do I do it on the top rather than on the back? And it's like, because I'm on the top. If I didn't, I would have to turn everything over each time to tie a knot. Now it's going to look just as good on the back as it did on the front. So it really doesn't matter, but I think it's easiest to do it all on the front because that's where we're working. So I hope that helps you. Leave us some comments, share with your friends. And again, I'm Donnell McAdams, an educator at Westerly Design Templates and Sew Steady. Thanks for joining me.